or a documentary. He hasn't taken the pounding that wide receivers take.
It's just a pound job, and guys are tired towards that 4 minutes.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
I would be lying to you if I said I had not heard things. They're like a bad rash. You hear a lot of things. Some are true, some aren't.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Oh, it's a big week in the National Football League, man. Are you kidding me? Week 14 starts tonight. Big one tonight in the NFC. Dallas and Detroit. Of course, Jacksonville, Indianapolis on Sunday. Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Huge one in the AFC North. Chicago and Green Bay. You got Houston, Kansas City. Monday night, Philadelphia and the Chargers. I'd even throw in maybe Bengals, Bills, Burrow versus Josh Allen. Big week in the National Football League, and it kicks off in 15 minutes. Lions, Cowboys in Detroit. We will keep you updated. And with that, a very good Thursday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A Thursday night that finds a new offensive coordinator at the University of Florida. Love the hire. We'll talk about it in a moment. A Thursday night that finds us that much closer, now well inside of 72 hours away from first place on the line in the AFC South at Everbank Stadium on Sunday with the 8-4 Colts and the 8-4 Jacksonville Jaguars. And we're one night away, less than 24 hours away from the state semifinals in high school football. We still have 4 teams in the area. Bowles, Rains, Ponte Vedra, and Trinity Christian all still alive competing for state championships. So there is a ton to get to. We are with you till 10 o'clock. As always, Jacksonville, we are happy you are spending part of your Thursday evening with us. Guest lineup tonight looks like this. I was in the Jaguar locker room earlier on, had one-on-one conversations with defensive lineman DeJuan Smoot and defensive back Antonio Johnson. You will hear those conversations coming up inside of 20 minutes or so here on Hacker After Dark. Also, former Jacksonville Jaguar wide receiver, my buddy Cecil Shorts, will join me as he does every Thursday, not only to preview Jacksonville and Indianapolis, but we will also take a look at Cecil's other former team, the Houston Texans, as they go to Arrowhead on Sunday night for maybe the Chiefs' last stand in 2025. It is an absolute must-win for Mahomes, for Kelsey, and Kansas City. So we'll talk Jags, Colts. We'll talk Texans, Chiefs. Also in the 9 o'clock hour, we will go to Indianapolis. My guy up in Indy is James Boyd of The Athletic. You also hear him in Morning Drive host at 107.5 FM in Indianapolis. And we will get the Colts perspective, including the streak. And we will talk about all of that with James Boyd up in Indy later on in the 9 o'clock hour. We're with you till 10 o'clock, Jacksonville. Again, thank you for spending part of your Thursday with us. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
Prediction tomorrow night for the Jags Colts, but I want to talk about the rivalry of Indianapolis and Jacksonville. Or maybe I should phrase it this way: the lack of a rivalry between Indianapolis and Jacksonville. You know, in the history of the Jaguar franchise, over 30 years now, you look at some of the division battles. Go back to the AFC Central. The division battles with the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? The Baltimore Ravens, the Houston Oilers / Tennessee Titans. I would even lump the Cleveland Browns and to some extent the Cincinnati Bengals in those AFC Central rivalries. There was certainly some disdain for Cleveland. Maybe that has to do with the beer bottle situation. Maybe that has to do with the flag being thrown in the eye of Orlando Zeus Brown. Maybe that has to do with Gerard Warren taking a little bit of a cheap shot on Mark Brunell. And even with Cincinnati, every team in the AFC Central the Jaguars played from 1995 to 2001, you could argue there was a bit of a rivalry there. And then the AFC South was born because the Houston Texans came along in 2002. And while it did maybe take a couple of years, certainly the Jaguars and the Titans were big rivals. I think certainly the Jaguars and the Texans are now big rivals. But that brings me to Indianapolis. It's a team the Jacksonville Jaguars have played 48 times. By the way, in case you're wondering, the Colts lead the all-time series 28-20. Twice a year for over 2 decades in the AFC South. Yet clearly, right, it's not even debatable. To me, it's not even close. Clearly, of the teams in the AFC South, the Jaguars play twice a year. Tennessee, Houston, Indianapolis. Clearly, the Colts, there just doesn't seem to be that rivalry there. There doesn't seem to be that fire there. There doesn't seem to be that disdain there, like certainly there is for the Texans and like certainly there is for the Tennessee Titans. And I was driving in tonight. I'm just kind of curious why that is. Why isn't there a hatred, if you will, a football hatred for the Indianapolis Colts here in Jacksonville? Again, you think about some of the meetings over the years. You think about Mike Doss running his mouth about Fred Taylor, and then Fred Taylor just absolutely laying the boom on Mike Doss here in Jacksonville. You think about Josh Scobie's game-winning 59-yard kick to beat Peyton Manning in Indianapolis. Even go back to Josh Scobie's rookie year, where he hit a 53-yard game winner to beat Indianapolis. You think about what the Jaguars have costed the Colts, right? They cost them a playoff spot in 2021. All the Colts had to do was win on the final Sunday of the regular season here. Jacksonville was playing for nothing with interim head coach Darrell Bevell, who had taken over for Urban Meyer. Jaguars cost the Colts their season. You go back to the COVID year of 2020. Jaguars won 1 game that entire year. It happened to be against Indianapolis on opening day. And maybe as I'm talking through this, maybe that's the answer. Maybe the Colts haven't caused enough heartbreak to the Jaguars like the Texans have and like the Titans have. Clearly the Titans have. 99 AFC Championship game up through the years. Steve McNair, Eddie George, Jeff Fisher, Marcus Mariota going 87 yards on this Jaguar defense. Derrick Henry going 99 yards on this Jaguar defense. We know why you hate the Titans. The Texans, Azeez Al-Shaair, need I say more? But there's more to it than that. Obviously, Houston, I remember David Carr, that's David Carr, scoring a game-winning touchdown as time expired. Houston beating Jacksonville some years ago. I remember Aaron Glenn returning a punt for a touchdown, I believe in Houston's expansion year, to give the Texans a win over Jacksonville, an embarrassing loss for the Jaguars. Obviously, what transpired 3 weeks ago with the Texans coming back from 19 down in the fourth quarter to beat Jacksonville, giving them their biggest collapse in franchise history. Maybe the answer is as simple as the Colts have not inflicted as much pain and suffering and anguish on you, Jaguar fans, like Baltimore did back in the AFC Central days, like Cleveland did, like Pittsburgh did. And now, obviously, Tennessee and Houston in the AFC South. And let's hope that narrative continues on Sunday. You want to get a real quick disdain for somebody? Have Indianapolis come in here on Sunday, break that 11-year streak, and put a loss on the Jacksonville Jaguars and then control the AFC South moving forward. That'll cause a rivalry very quickly. I would imagine, and I'll ask James Boyd of The Athletic up in Indianapolis this, I would imagine the way Indianapolis thinks of Jacksonville, the way their fan base thinks of us, is probably considerably different from how we think of them. Pittsburgh's got a ton of rivals, right? We hated Pittsburgh for a while, but Pittsburgh never really hated Jacksonville. They were too busy with Baltimore and with Cleveland and with the Dallas Cowboys and all of those teams. It was a bigger rivalry to us than it was to Pittsburgh. I think you have something similar right now. I think Jacksonville is a bigger rival to Indianapolis and their fan base than Indianapolis is to us, because they haven't hurt us as much as we have hurt them. I say all that to say this. I hope that narrative continues on Sunday at 1 o'clock. I would love for the streak to continue. I maybe even expect for the streak to continue. Indianapolis not winning here since 2014. But as we all know, streaks always come to an end. The law of averages will tell you it's an anomaly that the Colts haven't won down here since 2014. And they've found ways to lose in miraculous fashion. At some point, that streak is going to end. Let's just hope it's not this Sunday in a battle for first place in the AFC South. More on the Jaguars and the Colts coming up in less than 10 minutes. My Jaguar locker room one-on-ones with Antonio Johnson and DeJuan Smoot. Super quick. The Gators have a brand new offensive coordinator. First off, they hire their defensive coordinator, Brad White from Kentucky. John Summerall worked with him in the past. He's coming in to run the defense after being the co-defensive coordinator or the outright DC in Lexington dating back to 2019, I believe. But the big hire to me came this evening. Buster Faulkner of Georgia Tech is the brand new offensive coordinator of the University of Florida Gators. On the surface, that's a home run. And I'll tell you why that's a home run. Remember when I wanted Brent Key to be the new Gator coach? Everybody I talked to, either on the air or off the air, when I brought up Brent Key, they said, yeah, Brent Key would be fine if he brings Buster Faulkner with him. Buster Faulkner, what he did with that offense, with Haynes King and that offense at Georgia Tech, was phenomenal. Phenomenal. And many people told me Brent Key would only be a good hire if Buster Faulkner came with him. So instead, you go get John Summerall, a defensive madman from Tulane. And what does he do? He goes and snatches Buster Faulkner away from Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech tried like heck to keep him, reportedly, too. Offered him basically the same deal Florida offered him. But what do we know about Buster Faulkner? He has head coaching ambitions. And if you're an offensive coordinator and you take over a job for a defensive-minded head coach, you're going to get all the credit if that offense flourishes and thrives. I don't know how long Buster Faulkner is going to be in Gainesville. I would tend to believe probably not very long, because I think he's going to be destined for a head coaching job sooner rather than later. But I will tell you this, for at least the 2026 season, John Summerall, you have my attention, because that is on paper, it's all we can go on right now, guys, but on paper, ask any college football analyst. That's a home run hire at offensive coordinator, getting Buster Faulkner away from Georgia Tech and bringing him to the University of Florida. I was down in the Jaguar locker room earlier on, went one-on-one with defensive lineman DeJuan Smoot and defensive back Antonio Johnson. You will hear those conversations next. On a Thursday night here in Jacksonville, Florida, we're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark till 10 o'clock on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
With so many stars on the field, there's always one that burns brightest.
And when he flashes, he is something to watch.
Who will be this week's Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game?
Watch out!
On 1010XL.
The holidays are coming, and so is your family. Is your septic system ready?
Honey, why is the yard bubbling?
Dad, the dog's swimming in the septic tank.
That's one way to greet the in-laws.
Don't let a septic disaster be the highlight of your holiday dinner. Call Duck Duck Rooter today and get it fixed before Uncle Bob finds out the hard way. Duck Duck Rooter, your local septic experts. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron, totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens, also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings, and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On December 4th, 1997, the NBA suspends Warriors guard Latrell Sprewell for a full year after he choked his coach P.J. Carlesimo during practice.
What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate to 4.99% APR? Hey, Prosper here, and right now at Loan Pronto, they get the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, saved $2,100 a month. One call, life change. There's no wait, no hard credit pull. You probably won't need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates at a 3-year low. Act now. Call 914-999-1508 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Call 914-999-1508. See how much cash you can get today. You can also visit loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The holiday season is the season of love. If you're getting engaged now or just looking for that unforgettable gift for the woman you love, Beards Diamonds is here for you. This Christmas, Beards is proud to showcase the world's premier designers in both bridal and fashion. Like Sylvie, personalized, meaningful designs that enhance your unique lifestyle and personality. Celebrate your love, elevate your look, and shine brightly with exquisite jewelry from Sylvie. Celebrating 30 years of design expertise in both bridal and fashion. Beards Diamonds is the town center's local jeweler. So at Beards, you never have to settle for corporate chain store quality. We've put together our best selection ever of exquisite jewelry for the holidays. From the newest designer styles to classic diamond studs and diamond bracelets, with your choice of natural or lab-grown diamonds. Whether your holiday budget is a few hundred or a few $100,000, the experts at Beards will help you find the jewelry that reflects your love. Beards Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. It's the holiday season, the best time of year for sports, bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, what games to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right, Prize Picks. All you do is pick more or less on 2-player stat projections and watch your winnings roll in. Baker Mayfield, more or less than 223 passing yards. LeBron James, more or less than 27 points. It's just that simple. And now Prize Picks has early payouts. If your lineup is off to a hot start, you have the option to cash out before the game even finishes. But here's my favorite feature, the injury insurance reboot. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. And always, Prize Picks withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code 1010XL and get $50 in lineups instantly when you play $5 in lineups. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Week 14, National Football League. One of the best weeks of the year on paper. Again, like we said, it's not only the Jaguars and the Colts. It's Ravens, Steelers. You got Monday night, Eagles, Chargers. You got Sunday night, Texans, Chiefs. And it begins tonight, Thursday night football. The Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys, they are underway in Detroit. Detroit's already driving, 12:40 to go in the first quarter. They got the ball inside the Dallas 10-yard line. Huge game. Huge NFC playoff implications tonight, and we will certainly keep you updated. Speaking of playoff implications, you'll have those at Everbank Stadium right here on Sunday. The 8-4 Colts and the 8-4 Jaguars, first place in the AFC South on the line. Earlier on, I was in the Jaguar locker room down at the Miller Electric Center. Had the opportunity to go one-on-one with a guy that's one of the longest tenured Jaguars, and he's growing on that list all time. Dewan Smoot has played a lot of big games in a Jaguar uniform, and earlier on, I talked to him about this big matchup Sunday against the Indianapolis Colts.
All right, inside the Jaguar locker room, Jaguars getting ready for the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday. We got Jaguar defensive lineman Dewan Smoot with us here on 1010XL. Dewan, at practice, go out there today.
It went well. We're very focused. We understand how big of a game this is. It's going to really determine the trajectory of what the AFC South is looking like this year. So it's a big game for us, and we know that.
Indianapolis obviously has not had a lot of success here over the years. You've been a part of a lot of those games. Can you put your finger onto that as to why the Jaguars have been so successful against this team?
No, we're not really worried about that. I mean, every year is different. I mean, I'm not really even going to dig into that. You know, at the end of the day, it's a new year. They're looking really good this year, and we're treating it as such.
You were here in 2022 when the late season run happened into the playoffs. Do you get kind of a sense that maybe something similar is happening this year with the late season success?
No, I mean, I'm definitely not. I mean, we were already good. We already knew it. We just had to kind of work out a couple kinks. We had a couple games that we lost, and then we figured it out. We got back on the horse, and we just kept on going. So I feel like this is definitely a different year from the past.
You're one of the longest tenured Jaguars. In fact, you're probably the longest tenured Jaguar with a little bit of a break in Buffalo for 1 year. It's a big game on Sunday. The fan base is excited. How excited is this team to be in front of this crowd for a game this big in December?
Oh, very excited. I mean, like we said, we understand the gravity of this game. We understand how important this game is, not only to us, but to the city as well, too. So, I mean, we're going to come out there striking on all cylinders and doing what we got to do to get that W.
As we talk about Indianapolis real quick with Dewan Smoot, Jonathan Taylor, obviously a big key to them. What goes into stopping him? How important is that on Sunday?
We got to stop the run. I mean, it's simple as that. We got to get a lot of hats to him, and we got to play gap discipline as well too. We got to make sure that we're not just running off of blocks. We got to completely shit off of blocks, and we got to bring some physicality for sure.
The pass rush has really emerged for you guys as of late. Can you put your finger on that as to why so much success in the last couple games?
I would just say we all just started communicating the right ways. Camp got us in, some really advantageous calls. Made it simple and just allowed us to just go out there and rush. You can definitely see that it's went crazy the last couple weeks for sure.
Final question: a lot of Jaguar fans listening right now. What's your message to them coming out on Sunday?
Hey, come out loud and ready to go because it's going to be a hell of a game.
Dewan, thank you, buddy.
Appreciate it.
There you go, Dewan Smoot. I'll tell you this too. It's obvious the message Liam Cohen sent to that team this week, and I believe he even addressed this yesterday in his press conference. They don't care about the streak whatsoever. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to bring it up. It's obviously a talking point in Indianapolis. It's really all that fan base up there is talking about. Indianapolis, by the way, they don't really say a lot. I watched Shane Steichen's press conference, a couple of the long-tenured Colts players. They're brushing it off, but I can tell you the fan base up there, it's all they're talking about is the curse in Duval and the fact they haven't won here since 2014. But that was a message, a clear message that Liam Cohen sent this team. Do not talk about it. 2025 is a different year. This is a good Colts team, and it is going to take a great effort. Agree with all that, by the way. Having said that, it is an anomaly, right? As good as the Colts have been, and you look at the quarterbacks that have been here since 2014, Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, Andrew Luck, go on down the line, Anthony Richardson, I guess Joe Flacco maybe for a year. And the Jaguars have won miraculously against all of those quarterbacks. 2020, only game the Jaguars won, home against Indy. 2021, they cost Indy a shot at the playoffs. Final week of the regular season. All points in between. It is crazy that it has been over, I did it earlier this week on Twitter, I believe like 8,100 days or something. 11 years, 2 months, and like 18 days since the last time the Colts have won a football game here, September 21st of 2014. I was in the locker room as well, went one-on-one with defensive back Antonio Johnson. You want to talk about a guy that is playing good football right now? That is Antonio Johnson. Here's my conversation with Antonio on Hacker After Dark.
All right, Jaguars getting ready for the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday. We got Jaguar safety Antonio Johnson with us here on 1010XL. Antonio, at practice, go out there today.
Today was good. More of a mental day today. Guys just, getting the feel back, after a good win. And, just getting our feet together for next week.
Dominating defensive performance on Sunday. What do you guys take away of that performance that you can take with you for the rest of the season?
Just knowing that, that's the new standard. We go out there to dominate each opponent. And we know it's not just going to happen on Sundays, but it's going to have to happen like we did each week, putting in the work, doing the preparation, being mentally prepared, physically prepared for Sundays.
Big game, obviously, on Sunday. First place on the line. This is why you do it, right? This is why you do OTAs and training camp for games like this in December.
Yeah, 1,000%. We know what this game means to the organization, to the fan base, but it's another day. It's another game. We just go out there, dominate like we do, play hard, play physical, put our brand of football on tape, and do what we do best.
As we wrap up with Antonio Johnson, 3 wins in a row, 4 out of 5. What's going right for this football team right now?
Like I said, we just finding ways to win it, and I feel like we all know it don't just happen on Sundays. It's our preparation. It's how we practice. It's how we attack the film. Just being able to just be dominant on Sundays is just it's a process, and we believe in the process. We know the process, and it's showing on Sundays.
You've been here for a couple of years. There's a different feel in this locker room. What is different this year that hasn't been here in years past?
I just feel like just how close we are with each other. We have confidence in each other. I can look to my left, to my right, and we all feel the same way about each other. We ready to go to war for each other, and it showed on Sunday. We don't play about each other. We got each other back, and you feel that. And it shows by how we play. We play with it like a chip on our shoulder, and that's how it is.
Final question. Indianapolis in here on Sunday. Jonathan Taylor, Daniel Jones. What are your thoughts on them early on?
Good players. We just come in there and do what we do best. We're not really too focused on just one player. We focus on the whole team. And we have good players, and we just going to match up well with them, and we're going to go out and play ball.
Antonio, best of luck on Sunday. We'll be watching.
Appreciate it.
There you go, Antonio Johnson and DeJuan Smoot with us here on Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate those guys giving us some time earlier on there inside the Jaguar locker room. They know. I mean, you go into that locker room, they know the magnitude of this game. They're not going to overstate it publicly. You know. I mean, you're 8-4. The Colts are 8-4. I mean, there is a scenario on Sunday night where if Jacksonville beats Indy and if Houston falls at Arrowhead to Kansas City, the Jaguars could be in very good shape for this division next Sunday. Could be in very good shape. There's also a scenario where the Jaguars are behind the 8 ball after Sunday. This is what I talked about last night, and this is the message all week. Jaguar fans, this is what you have wanted. This is what we all have wanted. This is what we have clamored for so long. First place in the division, 2 teams, playoff positioning, first Sunday in December, Everbank Stadium. I mean, how many years have gone by for this franchise in the month of December where they are essentially playing meaningless games, where some of us are literally rooting against them for draft positioning in April? And now here we are, home game, by the way, back-to-back home games, Colts this week, Jets next week, back-to-back games at Everbank Stadium with a chance to cement yourself atop the AFC South. Everbank Stadium should be rocking on Sunday. It should be a playoff atmosphere, and I certainly hope that is the case. Let's talk to a man that played for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Ironically enough, this guy was on the team the last time Indianapolis won a game here in Jacksonville. My buddy Cecil Shorts was a Jaguar from 2011 to 2014. He was also a former Houston Texan. We'll talk about the Jaguars and the Colts. I also want to spend some time with Cecil on the Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. Two gigantic games, playoff implications, absolutely all over the place. I will tell you, Thursday Night Football, speaking of playoff implications, 8.5 to go in the first quarter. Detroit got an opening field goal. They lead Dallas 3-0. Dallas has driven the ball inside of the Detroit 39-yard line. What's that, Denmark?
It's tied now. Dallas just made a field goal.
Dallas did just make a field goal. Okay, so 3 apiece. Dallas and Detroit, 3-3, midway through the first quarter. And again, playoff positioning, big-time stakes in the NFC in that game in the Motor City tonight. We will keep you updated. Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts talking Jags, talking Colts next here on Hacker After Dark.
This is the game right here if they're able to make a play.
It's the top of the highlight reel.
What a play!
The Performance Painting High Performance Play of the Game on 1010XL. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Truth Teller here, and I've solved all of your holiday problems and stress. A gift card from the Blue Crab Crab House. Get this, you buy a $50 gift card, and you get an additional $15 card for free. It's that simple, and as always at the Blue Crab Crab House, the best crabs in Jacksonville, oysters, and seafood, period. Blue Crab Crab House, open every day except for Monday off of San Jose on Jewington Creek Road.
Hey folks, Ronnie here with Brandon Roofing. If your roof's got more leaks than your Uncle Jerry after too much eggnog, we've got you covered. Whether you need a quick repair or a full roof replacement, our team works faster than you sneaking out of your in-laws' holiday dinner at Christmas. Give yourself the gift of a roof that actually listens when you say stay together. From our family at Brandon Roofing to yours, have a Merry Christmas, even if you're spending it hiding in the garage. Visit us at brandonroofing.com. That's BRANNAN.
Hey Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
This holiday season, Universal Roofing Contracting is making it easy to check roof repairs off your list. Save up to 20% on roof replacements and repairs now through December 31st. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roofing Contracting, protecting your home and building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
Frank Frangie for Coil Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports moments. Remember when the Jaguars upset the Denver Broncos in the 1996 divisional round as a 14-point underdog and launched them into the AFC Championship? Well, you know who won't upset you? The team at Coil Fencing. Coil is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and has been serving the Jacksonville community for nearly 100 years. From sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love to tough chain link for your commercial project, Coil does it all. Visit CoilJacks.com. That's COILE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, is now available at the Fresh Market Spirits and Wine. The Fresh Market Spirits and Wine is a new adult beverage store offering spirits, wine, beer, and accessories at A1A North in Ponte Vedra, a first-of-its-kind destination for thoughtfully curated spirits, wine, and beer as only the Fresh Market can. And now, you can get Brackish Vodka at the Fresh Market. Brackish Vodka, for whatever your sport is. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Did you know that an annual coating inspection can extend the life of your building by years? Catching early signs like hairline cracks, fading, and moisture intrusion helps prevent costly repairs down the road and keeps your property looking its best. Our team at Performance Painting helps you stay ahead of maintenance with professional inspections and long-lasting coating solutions. Protect your building, protect your budget. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a free inspection. Performance Painting, repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Colts. It's a big one. Sunday at Everbank Stadium, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear it right here on 1010XL. First place in the AFC South is on the line. Also, really big weekend around the National Football League. And you look in the AFC, whether it's Steelers, Ravens, a huge one in the AFC North, and also Houston at Kansas City. Is this the Chiefs' last stand in 2025? Let's talk about all of it with former Jaguar and former Texan wide receiver, my buddy Cecil Shorts, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Cecil, how we doing, man?
I'm good, man. And you're right. This is exciting weekend in football all across the board. If you look at college, it's championship weekend. If you look at the pros, it's like you're putting yourself in really good position for playoffs, or you could possibly hurt yourself and not put yourself in good position for the playoffs. So this is a lot of fun coming to this weekend.
See, so it's gigantic. And let's quickly look back on the win over Tennessee. Look, it was a one-win Tennessee team. But the one thing I will say is this, and I'm curious your thoughts. Thanksgiving week, the Jaguars were big favorites, knowing they had the huge Indianapolis game the week after. There was some talk about a look ahead or playing down to the competition or whatever verbiage you want to use. And boy, Cecil, they went in there and they just took care of business from the word go. The game was never in doubt. To me, that really shows this Jaguar team is maturing a little bit.
Yeah, maturity is a huge word, and I think handling success, right? We've been talking about that the last few weeks, coming off a really good win the week before, and then continuing that success, beating a team you were supposed to beat, right? If you're a good team, you're supposed to beat the team you're supposed to beat, and that's what they did this past Sunday. I think they dominated from the start of the game to the end of the game, maybe finished a little bit better, right? But that's just being picky. Defense forced 2 turnovers. They were really doing a good job scoring the points. Love what I seen from Jakobi Meyers. And it was cool to see Brendan Strange get in the end zone. It was cool to see like this receiving core kind of coming together on the offensive side. Trevor looked decent. Still got hit a few more times than I would like. I think he took 3 sacks. But like you said, they handled business. The game was not close. They did what they were supposed to do to beat Tennessee and not look too far ahead to that Colts team. And that Colts game is going to be a huge indicator for putting yourself in good playoff position and good standing. Or you kind of sitting outside looking at the wild card, like, am I going to make it or are we not going to make it? But right now, I think they did a really good job this past Sunday. And looking forward to see what they can do against the Colts coming up.
See, so some guys are just professionals, man. You mentioned Jakobi Meyers. I love everything about that guy. He's only been here 4 weeks, but I can assure you there's not a Jaguar fan listening tonight that doesn't want the team to sign him long term. I mean, what an impact he's made in a very short amount of time.
That's a great trade by Gladstone. Like understanding the type of person you want to bring into the building, understanding what you needed first, right? And the type of person you want to bring in the building But he had 6 targets on Sunday and all 6 catches. He's been nothing but from the outside looking in. You're closer to me, but from the outside looking in, it's nothing but great communication with Trevor. He's building that relationship on the field. He seems very professional. He's handling himself with grace. It's somebody you want in that locker room. He's a veteran. I think he's 27, 28. I think he's 28 years old, if I'm not mistaken. This a prime playmaker no matter where he's been. So it's exciting to see. And you're adding talent to that room. I think that's the biggest thing. You're adding some experience in that room. Some experience of some big time playmaking, and it's only going to get better from here. So I'm excited to see what's been happening. And I think it's really, honestly, I think somebody like Jacoby can help a Brian Thomas, help a younger guy truly understand how to get his swag back, how to get his aura back, how to understand like, hey, this is part of the game. Stay confident, and can really help build up the guys around him that may be younger and have not been in the game along with him.
Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. Cecil, I thought Trevor Lawrence played pretty well last week as well, particularly in the first half, a couple of touchdown passes, and finally some plays downfield, the 50-yarder to Jacoby Myers. There was about a 20-yarder to Parker Washington, the 21-yard touchdown to Brenton Strange, and on a big 3rd and 10, he hits Brian Thomas across the middle for 18 and a first down. This team hasn't gone down the field very often, but they were able to do it a little bit last week.
I'm telling you that this can be a confidence booster for the offense. It's a confidence booster for the play caller. It's a confidence booster for Trevor Lawrence. And guys are getting healthy at the right time, right? In that receiving core, you're opening things up for Trevor. Now you got Parker Washington, Brian Thomas, and Jacoby Myers with Brenton Strange out there. That's one of the top. If everybody's healthy and playing at their best, that's one of the top pass catching units in the league, bar none. Like, they're one of the top teams in the league when it comes to that, if everybody's healthy and playing at their best. So I think last week was a really good, I would say this, a really good confidence booster for the guys. And hopefully they can continue to grow from there. And like I said, I think Jacoby and Strange are going to do nothing but help Brian Thomas. There's no real pressure on him now. Like, all the pressure is off of him. Parker Washington's been playing really good. In my opinion, I would love to see him go down the field more, right? Make some plays on some post routes, some go routes, which he did a lot in college where he averaged, over almost 17, 18, 19 yards a catch. That seems to be his go-to. So maybe move him into that role when you got Jacoby that can do more of the possession stuff and still be a threat down the field. And, of course, Parker and Brenton can do all the stuff underneath as well. So you're building something, and I think they're getting hot at the right time. And that's, as you know, good teams find ways to win in November, December. Your defense is forcing turnovers, holding a team to 3 points, playing well the last few weeks. But good teams find ways to win in November and December, and they're doing that right now. Plus, this again, it just builds confidence, man. Like, I'm telling you, like, teams that get hot at the right time, those are the teams that make those playoff pushes and those playoff runs.
All right, Cecil, let's look ahead to a big one here in Jacksonville. First place in the AFC South on the line. And look, let's start right here. This doesn't mean a hill of beans once the game is kicked off on Sunday, but I don't even know if you know this. Do you realize you were a Jacksonville Jaguar the last time Indianapolis won a football game here?
Oh, wow.
2014. That game in September, it was Blake Bortles' first action in the second half. See, so that's the last time the Colts have won here, 11 years ago. Again, that doesn't mean anything when the ball's kicked off, but that's an anomaly in the NFL. I mean, they play here every year, and they never win here.
That's crazy. That's a crazy statistic. I did not know that. But I tell you what, they're going to come in hungry. Like, they're going to come in ready to go. The last week was a close loss they had, and it was a physical game against the Texans, and they know what's on the line. Like, it's a lot of playoff positioning on the line this week. You can put yourself in the lead of the division, and kind of have, you're if you win out, or if you win the most of the games, like, it's in your hands, if that makes sense. Or you can lose this game and you put yourself in a position where you're depending on other people and you still got to win out and do these things. So they're going to come in ready to go. No matter what the previous 11 years have happened at Jacksonville, at Everbank, this game is huge. And they know it coming in, and they're going to try to give the ball to JT. When they get the ball to JT, he gets over 100 yards, they most likely will win. So it's going to be a challenge to Jacksonville to hold JT down, keep him contained, and make Daniel Jones beat him.
Couple of more for former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. Cecil, I know you watched the Colts and the Texans last week. When you watched Indianapolis, the offense there is not what it once was. I know people are loading the box to stop Jonathan Taylor. Was it obvious to you watching that game that Daniel Jones was compromised on his movement because of that injury?
Yes, he's not the same. If you just watch games from him earlier in the year, he's able to move in the pocket more. We all know he's very mobile, right? And he only had 1 yard rushing, wasn't really trying to rush the ball that much. So it's definitely a thing. I think credit goes to their defensive ends and defensive line for the Texans. They put a lot of pressure on him. Did a lot of good blitzing at times, trying to contain him in the pocket and make him try to figure out how to move. So it was evident, but he still honestly passed the ball decently well. He had 2 touchdowns, do some big plays down the field. He has some young receivers that can make some plays down the field. Pittman's not that young, but Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, those guys, Tyler Warren, those guys can make plays down the field. He found Pierce once, and he found somebody else the second time. So he still made some good plays with his arm. But as a former player that's been hurt and you can't use what you once want to use, it's in your mind and it's in your head, right? So he wasn't always stepping to all of his throws. I think he was about 50%, 52% as far as completion rate, but he still did decently well. So I think the game plan for the defense is to really get pressure on his feet, really make him feel uncomfortable. He doesn't feel like he can step into his throw, especially with that leg injury. But he still can play, man. He still went out there and made some plays, but it's going to be critical for that defense. Number one thing is to stop JT.
You know, for me with the Jaguars in this game, I go back to last week, and the national narrative was, well, the AFC South is on the line with the Texans and the Colts. Excuse me, the Jaguars are over here just kind of doing their own thing. It's like they've been forgotten about. To me, Cecil, this has a lot of Kansas City Monday night vibes. Nobody was taking Jacksonville seriously until they won that Monday night game against Kansas City. And then they kind of faltered and they kind of went back to irrelevance. I think, again, if you go out there and you beat Indianapolis on Sunday, you get back on the national radar.
I think you're 100% correct. I think they're being very overlooked. If anybody's talking about the AFC South, they're talking about the Texans, and they won 4 or 5 games, whatever it is in a row, and their defense is whatever. They're talking about the Colts and the injury to Daniel Jones, and can they keep going? They are not talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars. And honestly, they need to be, because this team is coming together at the right time. They're winning, they're finding ways to win, they're learning how to handle success. And I think Liam Cohen he said it the other day, good teams win in November, December. They find ways to win, and they're handling business right now, and they're getting hot again at the right time. They're building confidence, getting healthy again at the right time. So winning this game on Sunday can really put the whole league on notice, and I'm excited to see it.
I want to end with a thought on Houston and Kansas City, but as we wrap up with Cecil Shorts' final Jaguar-Colts thought, look, it's a gigantic game for both teams, no doubt about it. But if you look at the remaining schedule, Cecil, I think Indianapolis is in must-win territory, because if they lose here, they go to Seattle next week, then they come home for San Francisco and Jacksonville before going to Houston. Whereas the Jaguars still have a game again against the Titans. They have the Jets next week. I think it's vitally important for Jacksonville to win. I think it's a must-win for Indianapolis.
No, I'm with you. I think they probably have one of the hardest schedules to end the year. Seattle, San Fran, Houston. It's just in Jacksonville. Excuse me. That's a whirlwind. All those teams are playoff teams right now, fighting for playoff positions. Really good coaching staffs. It's going to be hard to win 2 of those games, let alone the majority of those games. So every game for them, to me, is a must win. And they may go into there beat up. They may go into there. I think it's going to be extremely hard. I honestly do. But we'll see what happens. The biggest thing they can do is just focus on one thing at a time. But Jacksonville, I'm telling you, Jacksonville's on the hunt. And I see them handling business on Sunday.
Jaguars-Colts, Sunday, 1 o'clock. As big, if not a bigger game nationally, is the Texans and the Chiefs. Arrowhead, Sunday night. This could be the final nail in the Kansas City coffin for 2025 if Houston goes in there and wins. What an opportunity for Houston, but can you bury the champ at home at Arrowhead on Sunday night? Kansas City's going to come out with their hair on fire.
They're going to come out guns a-blazing. They know what to do. They know the situation. It's hard to put my money against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be honest. But at the same time, Houston's been on the tear as well. That defense is for real. C.J. Stroud looked good last week, so it's going to be one heck of a game.
It's going to be a crazy game. And look, as we wrap up, and we'll, of course, have you on next week, but if I had to ask you right now, Jaguars 8-4, Colts 8-4, Texans 7-5. When you look at the paths remaining for all three teams, look ahead about a month from now. How do you see the South shaking out as we're talking here today?
I think Indy falls. I think they'll probably end up behind Houston and Jacksonville. And I say Houston or Jacksonville probably wins the division, depending on, how they do in the season, the last 4 games. But it's going to be, to me, it's coming down between Houston and Jacksonville. Those two are hot right now. They're winning. They're playing good overall ball. So I think it's going to come down to those two, in which they split during the year. I wish the last game of the year was them two. That would be fun to watch, right? But I think it's going to come down to those two. I don't think Indianapolis has enough juice. I don't think they're healthy enough to finish strong. I think their schedule is just a little too much for what's going on right now.
We've had the sequel. If I were a betting man, we might have a trilogy between the Jaguars and the Texans this year, with the next game probably being in the postseason. Former Jaguar and former Texan wide receiver Cecil Shorts. Cecil, enjoy what should be a terrific Sunday of football. We'll be back to recap it next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, RG.
Duval is back in the saddle as the Colts trot into town. The Cats ride the ponies in a stampede for the AFC South. Hey, stampede! Giddy up and hold on tight. It's a sprint to the finish line. Jaguars Colts, Sunday at 1 on the home of the Jaguars. 1010XL. 10XL.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental, with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group, 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks. With over 1,800 5-star Google reviews, it was a no-brainer to have Closets by Design get us organized for the holidays. From closets to garages to laundry rooms and so much more, Closets by Design will design a custom storage solution for all of your spaces. Nothing says happy holidays like a home that is peaceful and clutter-free. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation before year-end and get 40% off plus an extra 15% off with free installation. Call 878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Dan Hicken with a game changer. I've tested the field, and Checkmate Coatings is my new go-to for durable, jaw-dropping floor coatings. Better play, better results.
I'm Brendan from Checkmate Coatings. Our precision coatings make your floors the MVP of any space.
Slam dunk your floors at checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
What race car driver won 27 times in one season?
When your homeowner's insurance policy is up for renewal, it's a good idea to shop around to find a better plan. Southern Oak Insurance for over 20 years provides Floridians a clear option. SouthernOak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Richard Petty, the King, won 200 times in his career, including 27 times in 1967.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
In the game of vehicle performance and reliability, Atlantic Infinity is always the top pick. This is Hayes Carlion. Did you know that every certified pre-owned Infinity is inspected, factory-backed, with a limited warranty, and gets the same championship-level service as a brand new Infinity? Every mile will feel like first class, Check out their full certified inventory now at AtlanticInfinity.com or visit Atlantic Infinity off Atlantic near St. John's Bluff.
Joe Coward, Matt Hayes, and Leon Searcy are serving up your daily dose of sports talk specials from scratch.
I didn't know you could.
XL Primetime is driven by Duval Ford.
These are delicious.
Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When pests invade your home or business, you don't just need them out, you need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, they'll show up for you and eliminate pests quicker, just like they did at my house, because they care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a pest problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. That's right, Terminix it.
Hey, it's Rick Ballou. I just upgraded my home with fantastic floors, and the experience was incredible. Rusty and the team brought the showroom to me with their at-home consultation. The whole process was simple, the installation was top-notch, and the results, absolutely fantastic. Take it from me. Don't wait. Visit fanfloors.com and schedule your at-home consultation today. Fantastic Floors, where every step is fantastic.
With the holidays right around the corner, and it's time to get ready for family and friends. What better way to do it than with Zero Res? Carpets, air ducts, hardwood, LVP, tile and grout, upholstery, rugs, and stone. Zero Res, they can handle it all. Call right now, 287-5727, or visit ZeroResJacksonville.com. Tell them you want the 1010XL special and get 20% off all hard surface cleaning, tile and grout, hardwood, and LVP. Spots are filling up fast, so don't wait. Happy holidays from all of us at Zero Res.
What's happening, beautiful people? It's your main man, E to the T here. And cool air, open trails, and that perfect Florida winter sunshine, woo! It's the season to get outside and explore Clay County. From Christmas parades and hometown festivals to holiday markets and local theater shows, holiday magic is lighting up every corner of Clay County. Get outside, get moving, and get active. Come see everything happening this season at ExploreClay.com. That's ExploreClay.com.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Halftime, Hacker After Dark, 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock as we do every night right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. End of the first quarter in Detroit. Cowboys and Lions to kick off Week 14, a big one in the NFC. Detroit, a 10-3 lead. Jahmyr Gibbs, the rushing touchdown. Lions 10, Cowboys 3. End of the first quarter up at the Ford Field facility up there in Detroit, Michigan. Couple of things in the 9 o'clock hour I want to dive into. First and foremost, we will go up to Indianapolis coming up here in less than 20 minutes. My guy when it comes to the Colts is James Boyd. He covers them for The Athletic. He's also the morning radio host on 107.5 The Fan in Indy, and we will get the Colts perspective on this matchup Sunday here at Everbank Stadium. So James Boyd up in Indianapolis joins me in less than 20 minutes. Also Justin Barney later on in the 9 o'clock hour from Channel 4 We'll talk a little Jaguars Colts, but more so, we'll talk about the 4 remaining high school football teams that are all competing for state championship spots tomorrow night. You got Trinity Christian in 1A. You got Bowles in 2A. You got Rains in 3A. And you got Ponte Vedra in 5A that are all still alive. Those are the 4 schools left. Trinity, Bowles, Rains, Ponte Vedra. Denmark, I don't know a ton about their opponents tomorrow night, but I do know enough to know Chaminade Madonna is a machine that Trinity's running into. That's likely to be a problem for them. I know Lakeland is a machine that Ponte Vedra is running into. That's likely to be a problem for them. Rains has a rematch with Sarasota Booker in a game Rains won last year. You would think Rains would have a pretty good shot of winning that. You would also think Bowles would have a pretty good shot of beating Cardinal Gibbons. So if I was a betting man, I'd say Bowles and Rains win tomorrow night. Probably not the case for Trinity and Ponte Vedra. What's your thought?
I agree with the Bowles. Bowles should win tomorrow. Rains is a coin toss for me tomorrow.
Booker almost beat him last year. It was close.
They did, and apparently, I was talking to a coach a couple weeks ago. Apparently, Booker returns everybody.
Yeah.
And that'll be a really good game. Rains trailed early. They had to come back and win that game. Chaminade has not lost, I believe, a playoff game since they lost to Trinity in 2020 in the state title when Marcus Burke caught the touchdown. It's been that long.
Yeah, they're a machine. They are maybe, I mean, obviously you talk about the South Florida teams. You talk about Northwestern. You talk about American Heritage. You talk about Aquinas. Chaminade's a smaller classification. They're 1A. But they're every bit as dominant as those other Miami teams.
Well, they play St. Thomas and American Heritage almost every year, and they almost beat them every year.
Yeah.
They lost to St. Thomas this year, 27-24, but, yeah, they're probably the best team in the state, and they're a 1A school.
Surprised, maybe surprised isn't the right word because they were the number 1 seed in that region. But Ponte Vedra being in the Final Four of 5A in the state of Florida, what's your thought there?
Ponte Vedra is a little bit surprising. I mean, that when that region came out for the playoff bracket, I was like, that's the one region where I could see something crazy like a 3 seed playing a 7 seed for like a regional final. First round, they win in overtime on a blocked extra point, and then they end up dominating Daytona Beach Mainland, which kind of surprised me because Daytona Beach Mainland had a pretty good offense.
Yeah, Ponte Vedra beat Mainland, and that blocked extra point came against Niceville, another traditional power.
Yeah, so I think they're going to have a rough go of it when they go to Lakeland. I don't know too much about Lakeland, but Ponte Vedra does have to travel down there. Bowles plays at home. Rains plays at home, which helps a lot. Anytime a high school team has to get on a bus and travel 2+ hours, that's really tough for a bunch of high school kids to get off the bus and get ready to go.
So best of luck to Trinity Christian, Bowles, Rains, and Ponte Vedra, the 4 local high school football teams left in the state playoffs. If you missed this earlier, how about Billy Napier? We asked ourselves, or at least I did, will he dive right back in? Will he take a year off? Obviously, he's being well compensated after being fired at the University of Florida. Well, Billy Napier is diving right back in, reportedly finalizing a deal to be the brand new head coach at James Madison. What's interesting there, the James Madison coach who has them ranked, there's even a scenario, I believe, Denmark, where James Madison could even be in the college football playoff.
That's correct.
Their coach is leaving to go to UCLA. Billy Napier, beginning in 2026, will take over for James Madison. Let me ask you this as a Gator alum. When Jim McElwain left to take over Central Michigan, Gator fans couldn't stand McElwain. They were over him. When Will Muschamp left to go take over South Carolina, I get the sense there was some Gator fans that weren't necessarily rooting for him, but there wasn't like a disgust level with Will Muschamp like there was with, say, a Jim McElwain. Where's Billy Napier going to fall in that? Is it going to be more McElwain or more Muschamp?
Definitely definitely
It's a tough question, right?
I was thinking more McElwain.
See, I just don't think Gator fans are going to think of Billy as negatively as they thought of McElwain.
No, I don't know. I don't think Gator fans do not like Billy Napier, but it's not because of the personality. It's more of the coaching style. Like, Gator fans love the style of Muschamp, but they just knew that he couldn't be a successful head coach.
I think Billy's much more along those lines. Like I've always said, Billy'd be a great guy to go have a beer and a hot dog and talk football with. I just didn't want him to be the head coach of the University of Florida anymore. I couldn't for the life of me have look to see to have a beer or a hot dog with Jim McElwain. That would have been a little odd in my opinion. I do think when time passes, Gator fans might be a little bit more lenient on Billy. He was stubborn. Obviously, that's what cost him his job. He wouldn't give up play calling. It was stubbornness. It was brashness. And I'm curious to see how he'll do at James Madison. I mean, McElwain went to Central Michigan, was not successful. I get the feeling, Denmark, that Billy Napier might be successful to an extent at James Madison. Maybe rekindle what he had in Louisiana.
Yeah, we wish him well. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. It's going to be the funniest thing if the first thing he does is hire an offensive coordinator. That would be hysterical.
Well, that would be him seeing the error of his ways. But if you did not see that earlier, Billy Napier is going to become reportedly the next head coach of James Madison. Also, John Sumrall, the new head coach at Florida, has now hired both coordinators, Brad White from Kentucky, and earlier today, Buster Faulkner from Georgia Tech, who had that offense led by Haynes King. I was really high on Buster Faulkner. I was told by many people when I told them that I wanted Brent Key to come to Gainesville, people told me, okay, that's fine, but make sure Brent Key brings Buster Faulkner with him. Well, the Gators go out and get John Sumrall, and he goes and plucks Buster Faulkner away from Brent Key. Buster Faulkner, now the brand new offensive coordinator of the University of Florida. Also, Jaguar Colts, Sunday, 1 o'clock. The injury report out earlier today. A lot of guys still on the injury report for Jacksonville, but only 2 that did not practice today. Walker Little and Dewey Wingard, both out after suffering concussions last week. It is likely both guys will not play. But the big news was both Parker Washington and Trayvon Walker, who did not practice yesterday, were limited today. That is an upgrade for Trayvon Walker and for Parker Washington. If that continues, one would think there's a good chance of seeing them on Sunday. Probably a good chance of seeing Eric Armstead back in there on Sunday. Looks like Patrick McCary is going to be good to go on Sunday. He was upgraded to limited today. So the Jaguars, slowly but surely, getting a little healthier. And with Walker Little and Dewey Wingard likely being out, well, remember, you get Eric Murray back this week. So you figure Eric Murray will just slide in there for Dewey. It'll be Eric Murray and Antonio Johnson as your 2 safeties. And with Walker Little, one would think you just put Cole Van Lanen out there, who played the second half last week in Nashville at left tackle. So you'll have Van Lanen, Ezra Cleveland, Robert Hainsey, Patrick McCary, and Anton Harrison along that offensive line. We've looked at the game all week from a Jaguar point of view. Obviously, we're the home of the Jaguars. What about this big matchup and how it's being looked at in Indianapolis? How much talk about the streak is there up there? The Colts have not won here since September of 2014. Why has Indy lost 3 out of 4? And how healthy is quarterback Daniel Jones? Let's talk about all of it with my guy up in Indianapolis. James Boyd covers the Colts for The Athletic. He's also the morning show host on 107.5 The Fan in Indianapolis. Let's talk Colts and Jaguars from a Colts point of view. James Boyd in Indianapolis next, right here on Hacker After Dark.
Came out here, City Slickers. You're going to go home, Cowboy.
It's not a cattle drive. It's the Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville drive of the game.
You're done real good, Cowboys.
On 1010XL.
Does anybody know how to get where we're going?
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
The holiday season is the season of love. If you're getting engaged now or just looking for that unforgettable gift for the woman you love, Beards Diamonds is here for you. This Christmas, Beards is proud to showcase the world's premier designers in both bridal and fashion. Like Gabriel & Company, luxury jewelry that inspires you. Classic, contemporary, vintage, whatever you desire, Gabriel & Company has bridal and fashion collections made by artisans of love. Choose love, trust, and authenticity. Choose Gabriel & Company. Beards Diamonds is the town center's local jeweler. So at Beards, you never have to settle for corporate chain store quality. We've put together our best selection ever of exquisite jewelry for the holidays. From the newest designer styles to classic diamond studs and diamond bracelets, with your choice of natural or lab-grown diamonds. Whether your holiday budget is a few hundred or a few $100,000, the experts at Beards will help you find the jewelry that reflects your love. Beards Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
Food that's good for you can taste good too. Flame Broiler has protein-packed bowls to fuel your day. Introducing their new chicken avocado salad bowl, made with romaine lettuce, rice, cabbage salad, and topped with a delicious house sesame dressing. It's a bowl full of goodness. Eat in, take out, or catered. Flame Broiler is easy to enjoy. Come in Monday through Sunday for happy hour, 2 to 5 p.m. for a chicken mini bowl and drink for $6.95 plus tax. 5 area Flame Broilers to serve you.
I'm Max Fink. Join me for the Gator Report on 1010XL as I break down the latest storylines in Gator Nation.
Put together by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Go, Gator! Ah, family's here. Ready for a perfect holiday?
Honey, the toilet's overflowing.
What? Now? With everyone here?
The sink's backed up too.
Cool! It's like a water park in here!
Great! Best holiday ever!
Don't panic. Just call Duck Duck Rooter. They'll fix it before we're swimming in mashed potatoes.
Got a holiday plumbing disaster? Call Duck Duck Rooter, your local plumbing pros. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
The Tom Coughlin J Fund helps families battling childhood cancer, and there are ways you can help. Go to tcjfund.org.
City Rescue Mission provides life-changing support for the homeless. Find ways to get involved at crmjax.org.
The 5-Star Veterans Center of Jacksonville is the place homeless veterans can go to recover, recharge, retrain, and reconnect. Learn more at 5starveteranscenter.org.
Her Song is a nonprofit organization that breaks the cycle of human trafficking through survivor care, victim outreach, and education. Find out how you can help at hersong.org.
The Hometown for Heroes Home Buyers Program helps you get your down payment and closing costs paid. Call to learn more. 574-7180.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here. You've heard me talking about Pella Windows and Doors. With great ratings and expert reviews, you know they're high quality and energy efficient products. So what's your next step? Schedule a free consultation at PellaJax.com or just stop by the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Their professional design consultants will guide you through your entire project from start to finish. And that's the quality and service you can expect from Pella Windows and Doors.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Colts and the Jaguars, Sunday, 1 o'clock. First place in the AFC South on the line. Of course, you will hear the game right here on 1010XL. Let's get the Indianapolis side of this matchup on Sunday. One of our guys in Indianapolis, he's been so for years, is James Boyd of The Athletic. You can also listen to him every morning on 107.5 up in Indy. And James is always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. James, how we doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to what should feel like a playoff atmosphere down there in Jacksonville.
Hey, there's no doubt. And look, you and I believe, have had conversations now going on 3 or 4 years every time the Colts and the Jaguars get together. James, there is no doubt in that 3 or 4 year time frame, this is clearly the biggest one between these two on Sunday.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if I tell you right now, Ryan, it feels like here in Indianapolis, everyone's telling me the sky is falling. They've lost 3 of their last 4. That division lead that they had earlier this year has evaporated, and now they're slightly behind Jacksonville technically because of the tiebreaker, with Jacksonville having a better record against common opponents. And both teams are 8-4. Whoever wins this game will put themselves in the driver's seat to take control of the division and try to win that AFC South crown. And as you know, the Colts have not won the AFC South in a decade, and they haven't won down in Duval County in a decade as well. So it is tough sledding right now for this team, but a golden opportunity to go down there and try to change some things up.
James, they were the talk of the league for the first 8-9 weeks of the year, and certainly the last 4 weeks have not gone very well. What has transpired? From an outside point of view, it looks like the schedule has gotten a little harder, or is there more to it than that?
I think there's certainly a part of it, and to be quite honest with you, Ryan, they have not answered the call when it comes to some of the more marquee games to shut up the national people or the doubters. It's like, hey, if you don't blow that 11-point fourth quarter lead in Kansas City, maybe we look at you differently. If you knock off the Texans and don't get held to a season low 16 points, maybe we look at you differently. But every big test they've had this year, as of late, they haven't been able to pass. And so I think that's certainly a conversation. But on top of that, when your quarterback has a reportedly fractured fibula, that doesn't help either. So I think Daniel Jones is compromised to a degree. He hasn't been running as much the last couple of weeks because of his leg. And then I think the offensive line has regressed too, where they're not really giving the same amount of time to Daniel Jones, and also not really creating enough lanes for Jonathan Taylor to get off as well. And you talked about, how much he was a conversation earlier this year. That dude was at an MVP level a month ago, and now that's become sort of an afterthought.
James Boyd of The Athletic, also 107.5 up in Indianapolis. He's our guy when it comes to the Indianapolis Colts. All right, Daniel Jones. He was playing at an MVP caliber status for the first 2 months. Then the reported injury took place. James, you mentioned compromised. And look, I watched the Houston game. I watched the Kansas City game. I did not watch a lot of Colts matchups front to end before that because I'm so busy with the Jaguars. But it is clear looking at it the last 2 weeks that he's not running around a whole lot back there. Is that a clear sign that something is definitely wrong with him?
Absolutely. And I get it. The Colts don't want to really get into that as far as how much he might be limited. They keep telling us, and actually Jim Bob Cooter, who was down there in Jacksonville for a year recently, now the Colts offensive coordinator, he said the other day, there's no limitations with Daniel Jones. Well, yes, they are. We can see them on tape. For example, a couple weeks ago when they were over in Berlin playing the Atlanta Falcons, there was a 3rd and 21 in the fourth quarter, and it was like one of those gotta-have situations. And Daniel Jones broke free for a 19-yard scramble. It made something out of nothing, huge play. They ended up converting the 4th down on the next play, winning the game in overtime, yada, yada, yada. He has not really run since then. He had a couple of scrambles against Kansas City, and then against the Texans, he had none, and his only rushing yard was logged when he lost the snap and dove on it and kind of dove forward on it to gain a yard. So he is not running, and I think that's very clear that they don't want to use him as a runner and also as a QB sneak guy, because we saw the Colts lean into that often throughout this season, especially early on where he was getting a lot of 1-yard touchdown runs, so to speak, because he was getting pushed in, but they didn't want to risk his leg because obviously you don't want anybody falling on it with it already being fractured and him trying to play through it.
There's no doubt that Jonathan Taylor is an absolute beast. Like you said, James, I mean, the guy was borderline unstoppable for the first 9-10 games of the year. Is it just a situation now where teams are loading the box and saying, all right, Jonathan Taylor is not going to beat us, we're going to make Daniel Jones beat us?
Yes, I think that is the approach. And early on, it was like, okay, well, we don't care because Daniel's playing at such a high level. But he's tapered off, and I figured he would. But now it's become a question of, if we're going to pick our poison, we're not going to let a guy who we already know was a first-team All-Pro back in 2021 and might be All-Pro again this year do what he's done to other teams to us. I mean, you can't let JT run for 200 yards like he did against the Atlanta Falcons. You can't let him get 3 touchdowns. Obviously, that bodes well for the Colts. So they're saying, okay, if you believe in Daniel Jones that much, show us. And it hasn't worked out. And again, I'm not blaming Daniel Jones necessarily. I thought even the last game against the Texans, he was okay. 2 touchdown passes, no interceptions, no turnovers, over 100, I think, passer rating, all of the above. But I think if you're asking teams to pick who would hurt them more, it's always going to be number 28. And quite frankly, it's worked out well for those teams as of late, because I believe in 3 of the last 4 games, and actually there are 3 losses in those 4 games, JT has been held under 100 rushing yards. And in their 1 win, he went for over 200 rushing yards.
Colts are absolutely loaded with talent at the skill positions. I love Josh Downs, Michael Pittman Jr., Alec Pierce. We remember last year here in Jacksonville, just the unbelievable performance in the fourth quarter that Alec Pierce had that almost single-handedly won the Colts the game. And then Tyler Warren, man. I mean, good grief. The guy is certainly in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. Tyler Warren has been fantastic for them.
Oh, absolutely. Tyler Warren, I think, is on pace to be a Pro Bowler, All-Pro this season, and just caught, I believe, his 4th or 5th receiving touchdown last week. They line him up everywhere, Ryan, whether it's in the backfield, whether it's in line as a traditional tight end, whether it's out wide as a wide receiver. His versatility always makes him a matchup nightmare, and I think it's elevated the rest of their receiving core. But then you look at guys like Alec Pierce. To me, I know Michael Pittman Jr. has been paid like the number 1 receiver, and deservedly so coming into this year. But this season, the number 1 is Alec Pierce. He's no longer just the deep threat, deep ball guy. He's catching crossers. He's catching stuff underneath. He is moving the chains. He's winning one-on-one in short yardage. Like, that dude is playing very well. And one play that sticks out to me, Ryan, was early this year, way back, I think, in week 2, they had to convert a 3rd down against the Denver Broncos, and it was Alec Pierce and Patrick Surtain. And he won one-on-one, and they moved the chains. It was like 3rd and 6. He got 7 yards and beat the NFL's reigning Defensive Player of the Year to do it. So I think if you're looking at from a Jacksonville perspective, you want to make sure that while you're trying to stop JT, you also don't want to get beat over the top by Alec Pierce, because that dude, if he gets any daylight down the field, he catches almost every 50-50 ball. It's remarkable the way he is able to pull those things in.
A couple of more for James Boyd of The Athletic, covering the Indianapolis Colts. James, the offense was decent last year in Indy. The defense was the problem. They went out and they did some nice things in free agency. They obviously made the huge trade for Sauce Gardner. We know that Sauce Gardner and DeForest Buckner are not going to be playing on Sunday. But the defensive coordinator, right, Lou Anarumo from Cincinnati, has been a huge factor for you guys, has he not?
Oh, absolutely. He has really changed things up from the conservative style that Gus Bradley once had. Again, another former Jacksonville Jaguar, where his defense was kind of like bend, don't break, keep everything underneath. Where Lou, he's kind of a chameleon. He'll change his game plan based off of who they're facing, based off scheme. But there's also a level of aggression that they've had that just wasn't present with Gus Bradley. So I would expect that to continue. You certainly don't want to give Trevor Lawrence too much time back there. I know that he's been up and down this year, but he still is a former number 1 pick and a guy who's coming off a really good game last week. So how can you disrupt him? And then Lewis, he enjoys having those pieces to work with. But one thing, again, that works in the favor of the Jaguars is you don't have to see Sauce Gardner. He has now been sidelined with a calf injury that he suffered last week, so he'll be out for a while. And Charvarius Ward, who was their other number 1, quote-unquote, cornerback, he's had a weird season where he was on IR due to concussion and came back, hasn't really played well since then. So if you're going to catch this Lou Anarumo defense at the right time, it's probably now where they're down Sauce Gardner. Like I said, Charvarius Ward's going through a couple of up and downs right now. And then they're also without DeForest Buckner, their best defensive lineman, due to a neck injury. He remains on IR.
Is Buckner going to come back at some point this year?
That is the expectation. We did have to follow up with Shane Steichen, and he said he's very optimistic that he'll be able to come back this season. However, that means later this year, and the earliest he can come back is next week, meaning week 15, not week 14. So the Jaguars will have at least one matchup without Buckner.
James, I can tell you because I was down at the Jaguar facility earlier this week. They don't want to talk about the streak at all. The Colts have not won a game here in Jacksonville since September 21st of 2014. That is a media talking point down here. That is a fan talking point. That is absolutely not what Liam Cohen and the Jaguars are talking about. How much of a conversation is that up there in Indianapolis?
Well, Ryan, I tried to make it one, and Shane looked at me like he wanted to just throw me out of the facility when I asked about it. So he was not really having it. Zaire Franklin, one of the Colts captains, he said, hey, again, you guys make this more of a story than we do. But the bottom line is, Ryan, it's one of those stories that is only alive because you all haven't ended the streak. They can get mad at us for bringing it up, and I think even more mad from a Colts perspective because they're on the losing end of that. But the bottom line is, dude, you guys got to go out there and win. You got to snap the streak, and I get that. Daniel Jones, for example, isn't a part of that streak. He wasn't here before. Cam Bynum, the free safety, he wasn't here before. But for the guys who have been here, I do think there's a psychological weight of going down there knowing you haven't done it and you've been on the team for 7, 8, 9 years. So I'm excited to see what they do. And to be quite honest with you, I'm not picking the Colts because I will never pick them to win in Jacksonville until I see it with my own 2 eyes.
James Boyd of The Athletic. All right, James, as we begin to wrap up, you look at the Colts' schedule. It's been well documented, man. It is brutal compared certainly to the Jaguars' remaining schedule. The Texans' remaining schedule is somewhat tougher, although it's probably easier than Indianapolis's. I would have to think the Colts are looking at this as a must-win on Sunday against the Jaguars.
Absolutely. As much as the players don't want to admit that or coaches want to say it's just another game, it's not. And it's the reason why it's not just another game is because you didn't handle business the last 2 weeks. You had a chance to create more distance on your division lead had you beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Have you not blown that fourth quarter lead? You had a chance to go out there and beat the Houston Texans had you not, been held to 16 points. Maybe we're having a different conversation. So I think this is, again, so much is on the line from a divisional race standpoint, but also from a psychological standpoint. You have not won there. This is the game of all games to finally do that. This isn't some, season opener. This isn't some season ender where you're bad. Doesn't really matter. It's just a talking point. No, as much as we want to talk about the streak, the other streak that's really plagued the Colts is not making the playoffs the last 4 years. So a big step towards doing that will be winning down there in Duval County.
James, final question. I'm always curious. A team like Jacksonville won 4-13 last year. I mean, good grief, man. They were 5-18 in their previous 23 prior to Liam Cohen's arrival. Cohen's got them 8-4 with a lot of new players, a lot of players the Colts haven't seen in Jaguar uniforms before. What is the thought about the Jaguars up in Indianapolis coming in for this game on Sunday?
I think for the Colts, it's just you can't take for granted that they look a little bit different and they might even be banged up. Like I know a lot of the talk earlier this year was like, oh my gosh, Travis Hunter. He's not available. He's not out there, but they still have other playmakers, I think, that can give you, some issues. So in my mind, I think a lot of it just has to do with, they're a tough team. They're a resilient group, and they're not going to lay down for you. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've taken away from these Liam Cohen Jacksonville Jaguars is they don't fold. I was kind of waiting for that to happen, Ryan, honestly, and all of us kind of just, okay, whatever. Like, 3-4 weeks ago, they'll taper off, they'll fall off. This Jacksonville, whatever. They're not doing that. They're kind of saying, well, okay, even without, all of our guys healthy, even with this new regime, we don't want to just be satisfied with being a respectable opponent. We want to be a good one. We want to be a playoff opponent. We want to be a playoff team. So I'm excited to see what that means for both sides in this matchup because whoever wins is going to be ecstatic. Whoever loses is going to be devastated because that, to me, this is one of those games where if you lose, man, you're going to be praying and hoping that it doesn't cost you come, playoff time.
Yeah, I'll give Cohen a ton of credit. After that fourth quarter collapse in Houston, James, I thought this season might go off the rails, but they've won 3 in a row since that game, and it is a gigantic one. The 8-4 Colts, the 8-4 Jaguars, Sunday, 1 o'clock. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL Radio. He's our guy up in Indianapolis, James Boyd, 107.5 up in Indy, also with The Athletic. James, safe travels to Jacksonville. We'll talk to you soon, pal.
Appreciate it, man.
Every Sunday drive deserves a Monday morning quarterback.
Did anyone look at the scoreboard?
We'll take apart the top games, key plays, and controversial calls from the weekend.
Post Game Monday.
Delivered by Dandy Foods on 1010XL.
Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevrolet, and Beaver Mitsubishi are on a mission to sell 2,000 vehicles this December. I've instructed my team to take every reasonable offer. We won't lose your business over price. Thousands of cars, trucks, and SUVs priced to move. Get year-end savings, top dollar for your trade, and the easiest car buying experience ever. But hurry, these deals end when we hit 2,000, and we ain't leaving nothing on the table. Make it a December to remember, only at Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevrolet, and Beaver Mitsubishi.
See the shots and feel the excitement of an international sporting event for free. The Predator Pro Billiard Series comes to Jacksonville December 16th to the 21st at the Hyatt Riverfront downtown. See top pool pros from 40 countries compete in both men's and women's tournaments. This is high stakes, high skill, championship level billiards, and admission is free. No tickets needed. Don't miss the Predator Pro Billiard Series at the Hyatt Riverfront Hotel. Details at ProBilliardSeries.com.
The holidays are here, and before you hit the road, make sure your car is ready. At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, you'll get an expert oil change in 15 minutes with no appointment, and you never leave your car. Stop by any of their convenient Jacksonville locations and let the pros get you holiday travel ready. With a 4.7 national customer rating and ranked #1 quick lube in America by Forbes, Valvoline gives you quick, trusted service when it matters most. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Drive in today and travel with confidence this holiday season.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional, and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Ryan Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Your home deserves more than just another coat of paint. It deserves quality that lasts. At First Coast Paint, you'll find premium Benjamin Moore products, trusted advice, and the local experts who help you get it right the first time. Whether it's your living room, your porch, or your whole house, First Coast Paint brings your paint project to life. Stores in St. John's and St. Augustine. One name Jacksonville Trucks. Mention 1010XL for 10% off. First Coast Paint. Simply superior paint.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Look around and we know you've got options for gasoline, but those other places, they're not in the business of more. At Shell, that's what you get every day. Members get more rewards, more savings, more special offers. You'll even get 10 cents per gallon off of your first fill when you sign up and save on every fill after that. Choose to get more and more with every drive. Join the Shell Fuel Rewards program today at fuelrewards.com. Offer valid at participating Shell locations. Offer must be redeemed within 60 days of registration. Limit 20 gallons. Restrictions apply. Visit fuelrewards.com for more information.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focus, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Now the cool down.
with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jax cool since '87.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Another big football weekend on the horizon, obviously a huge one in the National Football League. The 8-4 Colts and the 8-4 Jaguars. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL Sunday at 1 o'clock. We will certainly spend some time on that. But prior to that game, we still have 4 teams on the high school gridiron in our local area that are alive for state championships. With that, Justin Barney of Channel 4, always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Justin, how we doing, man?
Not too bad, Hack. Busy week. Hiring in Gainesville this week with the new Gators head football coach. Signing day on also this week in football in the early period. And, of course, Jaguars and high school football has reached the Final Four. A lot going on. A lot to love if you're a local sports fan this week.
Yeah, there's no doubt. You mentioned signing day, always a big day for a lot of local kids here in the Jacksonville area. Quickly, Justin, we haven't talked since last week. Mandarin season came to an end. St. Augustine season came to an end, among others. Surprise for you that the road ended for both Mandarin and St. Augustine?
Yeah, more surprise for St. Augustine than Mandarin. I mean, Gainesville Buchholz now has made the state semifinals 5 consecutive years. They're a budding dynasty, still looking for that first state championship game appearance. And I think this could be the year that Buchholz gets it. So Mandarin, tough loss for them, but they are young and they will be back. A little more surprised about St. Augustine. A lot of turnovers in the second half of that game. A game they led 28-17 against Choctaw in the third quarter, but just couldn't get it done. A heck of a season for Brian Braddock and the Yellow Jackets down there. You probably didn't think that they would be still staying in that regional final after all. They graduated, so a tough loss for them, as well as Bradford and University of Christian. Congrats to all those teams for making it to the third round of the postseason.
Yeah, there are 4 teams left in the area. Let's begin with Trinity Christian. They may have the most daunting task of the 4. Great year for Trinity because they started, I believe, 0-4, if memory serves. They got out of the gates very slow. They're still playing in the state Final Four, but they're running into quite the buzzsaw on Friday night.
And, Chaminade Madonna from Hollywood, a dominant program. And, an un-Trinity-like start, just like last year as well, where they started 1-4, 1-3, I believe. Not a good start for them. A very young team, probably the youngest that head coach Verlin Dorminey's had in his Hall of Fame career. And they find a way to get back to the Final Four, just like last year, beat UC 27-12 last week. And, by the way, your reward is playing Chaminade Madonna, who hasn't lost in a state championship game since it lost to Trinity Christian all the way back in 2020. They've won in 21, 22, 23, and 24, looking to add another state championship this year. They are a dynasty down there in Hollywood. Trinity certainly has its hands full. But, hey, stranger things have happened. I think, if anything, this is more of a game for those Trinity players to get experience for a potential run next season for those Conquerors.
Justin Barney of Channel 4, the Bulls Bulldogs. You'll hear them on 10:10 a.m. Friday night. They have been a buzzsaw in their own right through the state playoffs to this point. We thought it might be Bulls and Bradford here, but obviously Cocoa had other plans.
Yeah, Cocoa, a dynasty in its own right, 3-time defending state champion. And, I talked to Ryan Schneider before the year started, the head coach at Cocoa, and he said, we've lost a lot. It's going to be tough to get back to that game again. But, defending state champions do not bow out gracefully at all. And, of course, Cocoa beat Bradford last week 17-10. That's a third loss to Cocoa in the state round in the last 4 seasons for Bradford. So still not finding a way to get around Cocoa, but Jamie Rogers and company, still a darn good season to be proud of. And Bowles, of course, is Bowles. Xander Edwards running for 11 yards a carry, 39 touchdowns for him. And Bowles, I think why they have the best shot to win a state championship since Porky Rogers days is just the balance on that team. I mean, Xander Edwards running behind the area's best offensive line, a dominant offensive line. It starts up front. I think they have weapons at receiver, Cam Teetsy. And, by the way, Clemson commit Naeem Burrows as well. Jaden Weatherly's done a good job at quarterback, and they've got a really good defense, too. So I think if Bowles' defense can hold up against Cardinal Gibbons, I think they move into that state championship game relatively easily. Offensively, nobody has found a way to slow Bowles down. And I do think this is Bowles' best chance at winning. It could be their first state championships since all the way back in 2011 when Porky Rogers was still in the twilight of his Hall of Fame career. But I think Bowles and Matt Toblin have a chance to get their first state championship since 2011 this year.
Much like Bowles, Raines has been flat out destroying people basically all year, but now it's going to get considerably tougher for the Vikings.
Yeah, rematch of a game last year that was absolutely a heavyweight clash. Sarasota Booker came here and gave Raines everything it could handle. I think Raines was actually down double digits in that game for the first time in its unbelievable season in 2024. They hold on at home last year, 28-23. And I think it's going to be that type of game, maybe a little more high scoring than that. But I think this is Raines' granted, they did play a Lake Mary earlier this season, but I think this is Raines' first real true slap him in the mouth kind of game where you got to get up off the canvas a couple times and pick yourself up to win. I think it's going to be that type of game. And then, oh, by the way, after that, you're probably going to see a Miami Northwestern in a rematch of last year's state championships game. So Raines has been destroying teams. Booker has been destroying teams all season long as well. So I think it's going to be a clash to the very end of that one. Certainly not a 61-15 route like we saw against Bishop Kenny last week. I think Raines and Booker go deep into the fourth quarter of a very good game. It was last year, and I think it certainly will be this year too.
Couple of more for Justin Barney of Channel 4. Justin, this really shouldn't be a surprise. They were the number one seed in their region, but the fact that Ponte Vedra has made it to the Final Four in their classification, did that catch you off guard at all?
Yeah, I thought I picked them to lose last week to Maitland. I mean, Maitland is a state champion from a couple years ago. They never lost to a team from St. Johns County in the postseason. I thought they would go in there and they would lock down Ponte Vedra on defense. And well, one team did get locked down on defense, and Mainland was the team on the receiving end of that. Ponte Vedra's defense absolutely squeezed the life out of that Mainland offense. Give credit to where credit is due. I mean, Steve Price has done a remarkable job with the Ponte Vedra Sharks. He's a veteran coach. He's got state championship experience out in the Tallahassee area. He and his staff have done a remarkable job, and they've done it really with, a blue-collar group of defenders and offensive guys too. But, J.P. Dolan blocked a PAT in the first-round playoff game against Niceville in overtime to get Ponte Vedra that win. So, I mean, his performances like that on the defensive side of the ball, Talon Babb and Reese Beck, Theon Day, I mean, so many guys on that Ponte Vedra team have really stood up and emerged. And it's, I think the most difficult game for Ponte Vedra in the playoffs was that first-round game against Niceville. I think had Ponte Vedra lost that game, I think Niceville would probably still be playing. They were that good. Yes, they were an 8 seed, but they were such a good, grizzled, physical team. And Ponte Vedra winning that game really kind of said to me, okay, take us seriously, because that was that kind of the get hit in the mouth game, and you got to respond. They did that. They hammered Beachside. They hammered Mainland. And then your reward is just playing one of the best teams in state history in Lakeland, 9-time state champion Dreadnoughts. Ponte Vedra's got a huge task ahead of it on Friday night. But hey, stranger things have happened in the world of high school football.
Justin, I want to end with the Jaguars. Of the 4 teams that are left in our area, Trinity, Bowles, Raines, Ponte Vedra, what are we thinking? Bowles and Raines are going to play for their respective state championships?
Yeah, I think, all season long, my compadre, Sponge Franklin, and I on our varsity podcast have talked about the best teams for a state championship. We've been pretty consistent in saying Bowles, Raines from the outset. We thought maybe the potential for a Mandarin to squeeze in there, that would be more difficult. But I think from week 0 onward, both of us really kind of said Bowles and Raines. And once Bowles kind of figured out its defensive issues after that loss to St. Augustine, they have been a wrecking ball. And Raines, of course, has been Raines. They have been on a mission. They felt like last year ended in so poorly and left such a bad taste in their mouth that they have been punishing teams for last year and how that ended, and take no prisoners. And I think it's going to be Bowles and Raines. I think it would take a miracle for a Trinity to beat Chaminade. And I think the Ponte Vedra Lakeland game will be competitive for a little bit, but I just think the Lakeland, the brand, 9 state championships every year, they're still standing strong. I think Lakeland is probably going to be a little too much for Ponte Vedra.
All right, Justin, as we wrap up, after the Friday night playoff action, there is a huge one on Sunday. Jaguars Colts, first place in the AFC South, is on the line. What's your thought about the Jaguars and the Colts on Sunday?
Well, the Colts, by definition, never win at Jacksonville, right? It's been 11 years since they've won here. I think it was all the way at 2014 that they won in Jacksonville, and Jacksonville won one game a few years ago, and it happened to be the Colts in Jacksonville. So I think Jacksonville, just with that history, with the Colts in a little bit of a slump, Jacksonville has played well, even despite all of its injuries and issues physically this year. And Liam Cohen has got this group believing that they can win even when they're not playing their best. And you never apologize for win. They've won ugly. They've won big lately. And I'm going to pick Jacksonville this weekend to grab sole possession in the first place in the AFC South division. That loss to Texans, the Texans really stings, because they are playing really, really well and really hot, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But I think Jacksonville beats Indy on Sunday, and they'll be the leaders in the clubhouse through week 14 in the AFC South.
I've said this all week. That fourth quarter against Houston, that could have derailed the entire season. Teams have suffered less than that and not recovered. And to Jacksonville's credit, Justin, and to Liam Cohen's credit and his staff, to go back-to-back-to-back wins after that collapse in Houston really says a lot about this team.
Yeah, and you've got to really say, hey, we have to flush it. And we in the media were hung up on the collapse in that game. How do you lose that game to Houston, to Davis Mills, and how do you lose that? How do you recover from that? And previous teams, Doug Peterson teams, would not have recovered from that. We saw, the games in Detroit, the games against Buffalo, and you just don't recover from a loss, a blowout loss, or even a close loss. And this is a new team and a new era, and you really feel like Liam Cohen and the staff have driven in the point of, hey, flush that fourth quarter, flush that performance, flush that loss to the Bengals, flush that loss to the Texans, and they've really got them to believe that. Trevor Lawrence played great football. The defense, with all of its guys missing and banged up, the offense with all of its guys missing and banged up, found a way to not only get it done, but to pretty much hammer Tennessee last week. And it's reminiscent of kind of how that second half of the season, the last playoff season, went for Jacksonville to me. You knew you had to play flawless football, and they did down the stretch. And that team right now is doing the same kind of thing, playing flawless football and winning when you need to win.
Of course, you will hear Jaguars Colts Sunday, 1 o'clock, right here on 1010XL. Justin Barney of Channel 4. Justin, talk about your Friday night coverage this week. And, of course, I know you guys will have a lot of Jaguar coverage Sunday as well.
Yeah, we have fun times on Friday nights. We have a 15-minute show on Friday nights this week at 10:45. Have coverage from all four of those state semifinal games. And, of course, our Tealgate pregame show for the Jaguars, that starts at 11 on Saturday morning from the Slab. Come out and join Jamal, Alessandra, and I, and have a little bit of fun talking Tealgate for the Jaguars-Colts game. Man, it's going to be exciting down there. We love hanging out with the fans, and it's got a good vibe now that Jacksonville is back on that winning path.
Justin, I know you're busy, man. Thank you, as always, for the time, and we'll talk soon, pal.
Take care, Hacker. Thanks for having me.
And thank you to Justin Barney of Channel 4 for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Yeah, 4 teams remain in our area in the FHSAA high school football playoffs. Of course, Trinity Christian, Bowles, Rains, and Ponte Vedra. All 4 schools are now 1 win away from playing for a state championship. Those games will take place tomorrow. And best of luck to all 4 schools. Again, Trinity, Rains, Bowles, and Ponte Vedra. So we certainly spent some time on that, spent some time in the world of college football as well. But as you can imagine, an overwhelming majority of our time was spent on the Jaguars and the Colts. The Jaguars were back at it at the Miller Electric Center today, getting ready for just a gigantic game, probably the biggest home regular season football game the Jaguars have played here in Jacksonville, dating back to probably the end of the 2022 season. The 8-4 Colts, the 8-4 Jaguars, first place on the line in the AFC South. This is what we've wanted for a long, long time, a huge game like this, playoff implications in the month of December, at home at Everbank Stadium. I have no doubt that place will be rocking on Sunday for the Colts and the Jaguars. Well, that will just about do it, man. Very, very busy Thursday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM, and we have a ton of people to thank. Again, my buddy Justin Barney of Channel 4, talking high school playoffs and a little bit on the Jaguars and the Colts. We got the Colts side of things earlier on. James Boyd is my guy up in Indianapolis. He is with 107.5 up in Indy. He also is the Colts beat writer for The Athletic. Always appreciate James joining us on Jaguars Colts Week. Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts stopped by to give his opinion on the big matchup on Sunday. And we were back in the Jaguar locker room. Thank you to defensive lineman DeJuan Smoot and safety Antonio Johnson for going one-on-one with me down at the Miller Electric Center to preview this big game on Sunday. Now, we will be back tomorrow night on a Friday to close out the week here on Hacker After Dark, beginning at 8 o'clock, and we do hope that you join us then. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Denmark, great job as always. I'm the Hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Thursday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark, on 1010XL, and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us,